Hey, cat. They want to see you. They want you to help with the video. Are you going to help? Come on, you got to get up. They want to see you, though. Oh, gosh. You know what? You can sleep. That's okay. I'll figure it out. Okay, so it doesn't seem like this video is going to be about what it's supposed to be about. But trust me, we'll get there at the end. In the meantime, try to enjoy the journey.
I mean, I call Donald Trump thick all the time because he is. He's a pog.
I don't
think he's thick. He's thick as hell. Donald Trump is
wait,
thick.
I thought thick was positive. Isn't thick positive?
It can be positive. I'm using it in a positive way.
Be,
I mean, he's got thick
that. Means like didn't it mean like strong or good looking or no?
I could be used in both. I'm saying he's good looking, man. He's thick, dude. He's built like.
I don't think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, he's built like a goddamn refrigerator. Have you seen his ass, dude? Holy crap, dude!
I'm not laughing at that. That is so. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at something.
Hey, if I was interested, that would be one bussy that I would tear apart. Okay, back walls destroyed. Secret Service, get at me.
What just happened?
Can I go?
There's something about language, communication, symbols and codes that has always fascinated me. When I was younger, I used to read code-breaking books and design secret codes and ciphers to send messages and write notes that only I could understand. And it's a lot of fun to do that, until you realize that it's even more fun when someone else understands your code. And just a few people understanding the code in a room full of people who don't. That's a really cool experience. If queer coding was coined today, we would probably call it queer memeing. You probably know what queer coding is, but if you don't, queer coding is when queer people know. We just know. Heteros, it might take them a minute to figure it out, but they aren't supposed to know, because it's a code. But the scientists of today, writing from an alternate universe where queer coding has never been written about, let's ignore the other universe changes that might be relevant because queer coding wasn't written about, they would probably call it queer memeing. I'm establishing something early here, a connection, a code. Something I want you to hold on to. And I want you to hold on to it because I think it's the key.
That kind of, I like that.
It's a little crazy with the rug. Because it's a dark rug.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta do something here really quickly. Sorry.
Go to bed.
I was born on a Dublin street where the Lyle drums did beat. The loving English feet that walked all over us, and every single night.
That's right, ladies and and gentlemen, it's top of the fucking hour right now. It's time for a 60-second ad break. That's right.
Oh, the song.
Look at this. Look, we even have an emote.
Let's start with the concept of lost media. I'm a scientist of vibes, not lost media. So if you want lost media research and science, you're going to have to go do some research because I don't have time for that. But the basic idea here is that media can be lost. Amazing, I know. It happens a lot with old films and paintings. Old films and paintings were made out of flammable shit. So if your art house or film house or place where wealthy people store things they don't want the poorest to have access to burns down, the only known copy of a thing was in that building, it's fucking gone. Again, I'm not deep diving into this. Do your own research if this topic interests you. The point I'm making here is that if there is just one of a thing, that one thing can be lost. We tend to think that in the modern era of digitized everything that nothing can be lost. But considering that there are quite a few video games that are lost media, digitization doesn't prove to be protection against lost media. This is important because I think it is. I mean, the people who specialize in this and actually do research find it important too. But like from the perspective of my project, this is important because I think it is. Because I'm digging into a community where many of its memes were established before it was considered more broadly relevant. Before the days of Hasanabi Clip Compiler 1234, who has a back catalog of VODs that is literally thousands of hours of footage uploaded to YouTube. So some of the memes that I can show you and track back through time would go back even further. I just don't have those VODs to point to because they have never been saved or uploaded to anywhere. And this isn't the worst thing, sure, but it does make working in these digital spaces kind of difficult if you weren't the first rando to stumble into the stream whenever the streamer first made the account and started streaming. Because for me, my experience with the Hasanabi community begins summer and fall of 2020. But there are other people, older heads, if you will, who might attest that the community began far before that time. And they would be right, and that would kind of prove my point. So let's start this analysis off with the idea that I'm really coming into the middle of a thing, and I can only trace back as far as the moment I came into the thing. And I will only be able to trace as far forward as this moment of writing this thing. And it's quite possible that even things from this narrow period might already be lost to time, algorithm, or channel demonetization or deletion. With that in the back of our minds, I want to start with a basic question. Like, very basic, super basic, incredibly basic. What is a meme? And everybody who asks this question in academia will be met with a recommendation to go read this book by Richard Dawkins called The Selfish Gene. The new soup is the soup of human culture. We need a name for a new replicator, a noun that conveys the idea of a unit of cultural transition or a unit of imitation. Dawkins, 249. You may already know where this is going. If you don't, semiotics. It's semiotics. So semiotics means symbolic. It's a fancy sounding word, and all it really means is symbolic. Think of it like this. The word cat doesn't really represent an actual cat. It's an arbitrary set of symbols that we all agree mean cat. Cats are real things, but cats are not the word cat. The word cat is just a thing that we use so we can talk to other people about cats. Simple as, right? Well, not exactly, because a picture of a cat is not actually a cat. A picture of a cat is a symbolic representation of a cat, but it's not actually a cat. The picture represents a moment in time where a person was taking a picture of a cat. And we all generally understand this to be true, because we live in a society that understands how photography works. But we don't expect the picture of a cat to meow to us or to be able to pet it. Similarly, a video of a cat is a moment in time that was recorded by a person who was taking a video of a cat. An example of a group of people who don't quite implicitly understand this are children who try to talk to videos of cats and don't understand that the cat cannot respond back. Symbols, semiotic domains, things that represent other things, and these things usually have cultural markers and processes attached to them, like in the photo of or video of a cat example. We often don't think of these things because they're seamlessly integrated into our lives, while I understand that the picture of a cat is not actually a cat and is rather a picture that is not relevant to me in a situation where I want to show someone what my cat looks like. When I tell people I'm going to show them my cat, they don't start castigating me about the ethics of carrying cats in bags. They understand that there will be some photographic medium which will display an authentic image of the cat I call my cat. So then memes. Where do memes fit into all of this? The word cat being a symbol for my cat is rather simple to understand. So is the idea of a photograph of my cat being a symbolic representation of my cat. But when does a picture of a cat stop being a picture of a cat and become something else? Cat memes are one of the most popular memes. Source:
my source is that I made it the fuck up.
But I'm not alone in making this up because generally speaking, we understand that the internet is made for sharing pictures of cats. So we already see here in these past 3 sentences that semiotic domains are wiggling around and converging and breaking apart, and that a picture of a cat can simply be a picture of a cat, or it can be representative of an entire discourse of genre and cultural exchange on a digital platform. I spoke about discourse and genre in my last video. We are involved in many different discourse communities at once, and we use different language to mean the same thing in those different communities. And I'm going to talk about that in my next video. Yeehaw, motherfucker. But what is important to understand here is how discourse relates to genre, because out of discourse communities, genre arises. If we consider discourse communities a way of speaking, thinking, doing, then we can understand genre as a product of these ways of speaking, thinking, doing. Thank you, editing me. With this very basic understanding of discourse and genre, we can establish a few principles. Show principles on screen. 1. Pictures of cats are pictures of cats. 2. Pictures of cats are not just pictures of cats. 3. Pictures of cats are part of a broader body of symbolic representation of other pictures of cats. 4. Pictures of cats are part of a shared body of knowledge of assumptions about pictures of cats. So the first 2 are pretty simple and we don't really need to look much further. The second 2 might require further explanation. Number 3 can be parsed as simply as, there are lots of pictures of cats out there and all of them are pictures of cats. Number 4, however, is tricky territory which carries a lot of value judgments about what is and is not a cat. Gatekeeping catdom, if you will. So the assumptions may be listed as such. 1. A picture of a dog is not a picture of a cat. We all have a basic understanding of what a cat looks like and we know that dogs are not cats. 2. Pictures of multiple cats are pictures of a cat. There's no reason to see the amount of cats pictured as a necessary variable when considering whether or not this is a picture of a cat. 3. A picture of a dog and a cat is still a picture of a cat because there is a cat in the picture. This may change by how much cat is present in the picture versus how much dog. 4. Cats can be doing cat-like things or things that are not cat-like. In each of these situations, the cat is still a cat. However, the cat that does not cat-like things may be considered an instance of dramatic irony where we, the audience, know that the cat is not behaving like a cat, even though the cat doesn't know this, which is haha funny. 5. The internet was designed for sharing pictures of cats. These are not all of the possible assumptions and values we have about cat pictures because that list would go on for days. But these are just a few basic assumptions and values which I could come up with. Through these assumptions, we can understand which pictures are cat pictures, which pictures are not cat pictures, what we do with cat pictures, we post them, what might be interesting about a particular picture of a cat, and the fuzzy gray area where that picture might not be a cat picture, but it's open for debate. And even then, these variables can be complicated further because is a cat dressed in a dog costume still a cat? Is a dog behaving cat like a cat? These might be considered other things, but for each example, we weigh them up against those assumptions and values and decide whether or not that is a picture of a cat, and as such, whether we should post it on the internet. The joy of semiotics. So, are cat memes just memes? Well, unfortunately for you, memes are a semiotic domain. That means memes have genre. And since we already know about the genre of the cat meme, let's dig into some others. Are we back? Are we back? Are we good? Is it good? Did it work? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, wonderful. And then there should be content. Let's go to content, video producer. There should be a new. Oh, nice. Good, very good, very good, very good, very good. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn some sounds on, and then I'm gonna be right back. Pepe the Frog is a frog from a comic strip written by a guy. Here's a documentary I would recommend if you want to know more about that. Now, you astute watchers of documentaries, you true comrades to documentarians everywhere, you individuals who would know whether or not I've plagiarized this script from a documentary I've watched by casually listening to it while assembling Legos or something. You few happy band of brothers. Yes, I'm doing Henry V because I have no shame. You know that Pepe the Frog was a fun little frog until he wasn't, and everybody was big mad because Hillary Clinton in video games. And yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than that. But let's first lay out all the basics. 1. Much like pictures of cats, the internet is made for sharing other cute pictures of cute things. 2. Frogs are cute things. 3. People who hate life hate when people enjoy things. 4. Especially when those things are cute things. 5. Turning much beloved cute things into hated objects of fear and derision is kind of their thing. If you've heard the phrase that a table of liberals and a fascist is a table of fascists, then you understand that there are more values and assumptions to that joke. You also understand that fascists like to take our nice things and make them not so nice because under capitalism and neoliberalism, everything is a culture war. And if you can convince enough liberals that Hawaiian shirts are the sign of the devil, then liberals will believe that all people who wear Hawaiian shirts are sent from the devil. This isn't a joke. This is how dog whistles work. I'm not going to get into the history of dog whistles because if you're interested enough, you will do the research yourself. But for our purposes, dog whistles are when people who are involved in the fascism show other people that they are involved in the fascism by doing a thing associated with the fascism. These things usually look normal or benign until one thing is combined with like 10 other things, at which point you have yourself a fascist. But before that point of the 10 other things being confirmed, you're like, what is this? It's just a regular guy. And the one anti-fascist who knows better is like, nah dog, that is not a regular guy. And all the other fascists are like, yo, what? That's just a regular guy. And you're like, wait, aren't you doing the thing that fascists do? And they're like, no, I'm just a regular guy. And then you ask them how they feel about social safety nets, and they're like, the elderly and the poor and sick children should be mulched, and then you know that they are not a regular guy. But before we learn about their plan to mulch the elderly and the poor and sick children, for all intents and purposes, we're pretty sure they're just a regular guy. And so dog whistles work in a few ways. They let the other fascists know who is a fascist. They let the one sensible anti-fascist know who is a fascist. They make liberals think the anti-fascist is crazy and actually it's okay to mulch the elderly and the poor and sick children. The thing is, even if liberalism and fascism often ideologically bump together, performatively at least, liberals hate fascism, or at least fascist aesthetics. Which is why liberals will sit next to a fascist and think that fascist is a very civil person, and they can have a very interesting conversation about the people in society who would be mulched. Within reason, of course. While simultaneously, liberals can obsess over fascist aesthetics, causing the moral decay of the youth. Which takes us back to Pepe the Frog. Pepe the Frog became a meme online which was taken up by the alt-right who made Pepe edits and shared them, some of which were kind of disturbing, many of which carried fascist aesthetics. And liberals were like, the problem here isn't the fascist ideology, you know, the kind that would defund Social Security.
Senator, we have a deficit. We have Social Security and Medicare looming. Would you consider looking at those programs age of eligibility,
Absolutely.
cost of living, put it all on the table?
The answer is absolutely, you have to. I mean, it's one of the things that the political advisors say to me is, whoa, don't touch that third. Look, the American people aren't stupid. It's a real simple proposition. Social Security is not the hard one to solve. Medicare, that is the gorilla in the room. And you've got to put all of it on the table.
Everything.
Everything. You've got to.
Or the kind that calls black men super predators.
The fourth challenge is to take back our streets from crime, gangs, and drugs. And we have actually been making progress on this count as a nation because we have finally gotten more police officers on the street. That was one of the goals that the president had when he pushed the crime bill that was passed in 1994. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy.
But rather the little green frog guys. Now let's take a step back and acknowledge that you did not fall out of a coconut tree.
My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
We are vibes-based scientists, and we understand that memes are part of discourses. And if a meme genre is fascist, then it carries fascist values and assumptions. But as vibes-based scientists, we also understand that memes are part of many, many, many discourses, and that there are many genres of a single meme. Which is why one Pepe may carry one type of values and assumptions, and another Pepe may carry another radically different set of values and assumptions. Meme time.